Hello and welcome to Beard Power. Today we're going to be talking about the mysterious pivot table in Excel. Pivot tables are the fastest and easiest way to find relationships within your data and the most efficient way to present your findings. As always, if you like this video, please like it, subscribe for further content in the future, click this little bell icon to all. That way you'll be notified when I make a new video. For this tutorial, I chose a simple welding log. Before we get started, there's a few things that we need to know and ensure that are in place. Every column header must have a name. Ensure that there is no empty rows or columns. We need to ensure that there is no subtotal rows. Delete that. Make sure there's no extra data hanging around. Delete that as well, and ensure that there is no blanks. Also suggest that you put your data into a table. This ensures if you add any data into your spreadsheet, it'll be updated in your pivot table when you push refresh. To do this, go to your Insert tab within your ribbon, click Tables, or you can go Control A, Control T. Make sure my table has headers clicked on. Press OK. There you go. With that table highlighted, we're going to go straight into the cheater version of pivot tables. That is located in the Insert ribbon. Go to Recommended Pivot Tables. Click OK. So we'll scroll through, see what different types of recommended pivot tables we have. I think the best one we can start with is count of welds per welder ID. So we'll click on that, press OK. Just gonna move it over so it's easier to see. So you can see here we have the welder ID and their count of welds. So when you look at this pivot table, we can see the welder ID in the rows. So these are the rows. And we have the weld number in the values. This is the amount of welds that have been completed by that welder. So as you can see, this gives you a bang for your buck, as it took less than 1 minute to show a report on the weld count as per welder. Say we want to show the welder ID with the different size of pipes that they've welded. We can just add the nominal pipe size into the rows. Now it shows the different size of welds that they've completed. From here we can minimize that. Brings it down to the amount of welds that they've done. You could also add a filter to this. Click the weld date, drag it into the filter. Go into the drop down box, click multiple selection. And we'll click 3 days. There you go. Shows you all the welds that were done in those 3 days. We can open up the plus signs to see the size of welds that they completed. If we also want to see who passed and failed their RTUT, we can click and drag that into the column, and that gives you who failed, wasn't required, and passed, and that'll give you a total rate on the bottom. If you want to see where the data is coming from, all we need to do is double click on one of the numbers within the pivot table, and that will bring you to where it is within the table. Something to note, right click and the pivot table is your friend. There are multiple options. You can sort. You can also change the field values. So now you can see that we have a ascending order from smallest to largest, and now we are using weld inches and not just the count of the welds. Few more things to add. I'm just going to highlight the pivot table, add some formatting. I also like to change the tab name to pivot table. And one last thing, if you make any changes within your table and your data, right click in the pivot table and refresh. That will give you your latest data. After watching this video, I hope you can see pivot tables are not as scary as they sound, and it is easy as dragging and dropping different options. In my following tutorial, I'll discuss some advanced options in pivot tables, such as formatting, slicers, timelines, and pivot charts. As always, thank you for watching and have an excellent day.